こんにちは、かいです。今回から新しいゲーム、The Testament of Sherlock Holmes やっていきたいと思います。シャーロック・ホームズの遺言直訳すると。で、私がシャーロック・ホームズになって事件を解決していくっていうお話になりますね。で、今これ、もう再開続きからって出てるんですけど、実はこれね、今さっきまでこう録画してたんですけど、マイクがミュートになってて音声が一部入ってなかったので撮り直したいと思います。で、ずっとね PS4 のコントローラーで PC ゲームやってたんですけど、このシャーロック・ホームズ対応していないので、今回からはマウスと、キーボードでやっていきたいと思います。では行きます。いやー、マジやらかしちゃったなー。しょうがない。これはもう操作に慣れる練習と思って。で、あとね、このシャーロック・ホームズのゲームは結構シリーズ出てるんですよ。で、このゲーム2012年に、発売されたんですけど、初の日本語対応、字幕対応したみたいで、でもところどころちょっと日本語おかしいところもあったような気がする。
What's this? No. Boop, boop. La la la. Ah.
ワンパク坊やだな。
Ooh. Oh, look! It's a book! Maybe it's a book about pirates with a treasure map. No, I don't think so. I wish that I had seen through all your lies. Oh, start from the beginning, not the middle. And so I decided to pick up my pen to relate the most disturbing episode of my life thus far.
It all began early one morning in 1898, when Sherlock Holmes invited me to accompany him on a visit to the Marquis of Conyngham.
Watson, my dear fellow, we can now go and inform the Marquis that we have found the Samoan necklace, and very much faster than Inspector Baines, too, which pleases me.
Have you really solved the theft, Holmes? And so quickly?
I have indeed, Watson, and believe me, it was completely unnecessary to spread out all over London, as our friend Baines thought was best. He likes to boast that his methods are equal to mine, but once again the outcome has contradicted him.
After all these years of accompanying you upon your investigations, I thought that by now I should be reasonably capable of following your train of thought. But in this particular case, I must admit that I don't understand anything at all.
Ah, you see, but you do not observe, Watson. There lies the difference. It is a matter of course.
A matter of course? In the middle of the night, when everyone is fast asleep, the service bell within that room rings out and alerts the servants. They dress quickly and come running. but the door is locked and there is a strong smell of burning from within. A few seconds later, the master of the house himself, the robbed Marchioness's husband, the Marquis of Conyngham, arrives and unlocks the door using the sole key. A fire has started inside the room, but they have managed to arrive in time to put it out. It is at that moment that the Marquis realizes that the famous Samoan necklace, which had been safe within its glass cabinet only a few hours earlier, has now disappeared.
In order to explain, let us confirm my theory before the arrival of Inspector Baines.
ですね。はい。こちらのガラスケースに入っていたネックレスが盗難にあったわけですね。おい。
This window was cut with a diamond, a clean, discreet piece of work. This is where the necklace was.
See how tiny the hole is, and not one fingerprint upon the window.
はい。手がかりを調べた後、そのアイコンはこのように緑に変わります。ほい、ほい。
A mark undoubtedly made by a diamond. Someone tried to cut the glass, but he was interrupted.
Therefore, the thief tried to escape through the window, but he was interrupted.
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced.
OK。暖炉に向かいます。虫眼鏡を拾いました。右クリックで所持品。落ちてますね。
Let us examine the crumpled scores that have fallen off the piano.
OK。
These sooty prints were left by a tiny hand.
I don't understand why these music scores are covered with soot.
これが一人称視点。走ります。走ります。OK。スペースキーで第六感が働く。
Not very well kept, this aquarium. I can see a dead fish floating on the surface.
This draft screen makes an ideal hiding place.
As the theft was committed at night, I conclude that the thief hid himself behind the draft screen and waited until he was alone in the room.
When the servants arrived at the door, having been alerted by the bell, they saw evidence of the theft and the fire, but they didn't see the thief.
This door is very hard to force. The Marquis is the only person to have the key. The thief could not get out through here until eventually, when the door was opened by the servants.
Footprints. You are not going to get on your knees to examine them.
There is no need. It is soot. The servants must have trodden in it while they were putting out the fire. Heading towards his chosen escape route, probably the window, the thief knocked over the stool, which then caught fire.
But why didn't he try to put the fire out at once?
Strange. There are some objects here that have been knocked over.
The fire started here, just beneath the bell pull.
Whoever pulled the cord would have had his feet in the fire, unless it was pulled before the fire started. All the windows are locked. They've not been forced. A candle. It must have fallen from the chandelier. These documents are not very interesting, even though they're addressed to the Minister of Maritime Affairs.
The Marquis himself.
Strange.
第
There
6
aren't any
巻
prints.
楽だ
Yet I'm sure that the thief hid here.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. You're already here.
Good morning, Inspector. You've arrived just in time.
Scotland Yard arrives like the cavalry, always in the nick of time. Ah, but I know that satisfied expression, Mr. Holmes. Have you already solved the case?
It's possible.
We have retraced the thief's rather unusual footsteps. He is a true acrobat. But what I cannot understand is that when the servants entered the room, there was no one to be seen. An acrobat, perhaps, but an invisible one? I do not think so.
The only explanation is that the thief escaped before the servants arrived. I don't know how, but there is no other way.
Half a point for the doctor, nil for the inspector.
I'm pleased to see that you find the situation amusing, Mr. Holmes. Very well then, explain.
Dr. Watson was correct when he mentioned acrobatics, but he is mistaken about the nature of the acrobat. As for you, Baines, you're quite incorrect, as the thief was in the room when the servants entered.
Explain, for heaven's sake, Mr. Holmes.
Watson, how could a thief be missed in the middle of 8 men?
I don't know. Because he is very small? Stop teasing us, Holmes.
Exactly, because he is small and remarkably agile.
You're thinking of a monkey?
And a trained monkey at that, without a doubt, a Leontopithecus
ゴールデン
rosalia
ラ
from
イオ
Central
ンタマリ
America.
ン訓練された猿
The animal had been hidden inside the room for several hours, calmly awaiting the signal from his master. Once night had fallen and the room was empty, a high-frequency whistle alerted the monkey that it was time to begin the procedure for which he had been trained. The monkey emerged from his hiding place and used the point of a diamond to open the glass cabinet and steal the necklace. He headed across to the window by the chimney, but knocked over the stool, which in turn knocked aside the fire guard and started the fire. The frightened monkey jumped from the chimney by swinging from the bell pull, thus alerting the house servants. He then went to the window and began to use his diamond to cut a hole, but was interrupted by the staff trying to gain entry via the door, and he panicked again. He ran across the piano, scattering the music scores onto the floor, before hiding inside the chandelier, knocking over a candle.
うんうん
Finally, the servants and the Marquis entered the room, leaving the door open while they put out the fire. It was during the confusion that our agile little thief made his escape through the doorway. As simple as that.
A brilliant explanation. Bravo, Holmes.
And the necklace?
I can see it from here, my friends. It's right in front of us.
We have searched the room from top to bottom, Holmes. How were we unable to find it?
Because we paid insufficient attention to the only victim of this affair.
What victim? No one is dead?
Yes, Watson, a poor goldfish whose destiny was to die, crushed by one of the most precious necklaces in England.
The aquarium is just beneath the chandelier. I understand.
The little monkey had likely hung the necklace around its neck and lost it when he leapt from the chandelier. The jewels fell into the aquarium where they remain now. Marquis. Here is your necklace.
う
Intact,
ん。
just a little wet.
Mr. Holmes, this brilliant demonstration does credit to your reputation.
Thank you so much, Marquis. Do you wish to verify the authenticity of your jewel?
宝石
No, I
の
recognize
真
it.
意。
I have spent many hours admiring it, you know.
Good. I will return it to its box, and
Inspector, a bank has just been held up. You must follow me at once. Orders of Scotland Yard.
銀行で強盗事件が起きたみたいですね。
Sirs, duty calls. My regards, Marquis. And well done again, Mr. Holmes.
there, the necklace is in its box. We've lost enough time here. Let's go home, Watson.
Ah, very well, as you wish. A good day to you, Marquis.
With pleasure, gentlemen. And once again, thank you.
うん。
This morning's newspaper. Holmes, have you read this article about you?
No, Watson, not yet, and I won't have time to.
Read it before you leave. It's outrageous.
If you insist.
新聞。シャーロック・ホームズはコニンガム公爵宅に捜査は大失敗に終わる。うん。うん。昨日、名高い探偵シャーロック・ホームズはサモアのネックレス紛失調査に関する結論を提供すべくコニンガム公爵の邸宅に招かれた。うん。うん。そうね。ネックレスが保管されていた部屋から呼び鈴が鳴って、で使用人たちが慌てて部屋に向かい、で唯一存在する鍵を所持している公爵が到着して扉を開け、中で発生していた火事を急いで消し止めた。うん。ネックレスの紛失に気づく前のことだ。そうだね。事件解決後、シャーロック・ホームズは自分でネックレスを金庫に戻してその場を後にした。しかしその宝石がただの偽物だった。まあ公爵一回見てるしね。でちゃんと本物だって何回も見てたからみたいなこと言ってましたからね。グローブエクスプローラーが日和見主義者的な性格特性を持っている。ワトソン博士の記録から提供されたもので、真実から大きくかけ離れている。警察に対して攻撃的である。その上ヘロインやコカインなどの麻薬常習者でもある。すげえ中傷してるじゃん。
Prince Woodville, French culinary expert and bagpipe player, might be our next king. That's not so shocking, my dear fellow.
You know exactly to which article I'm referring, Holmes. How can Farley dare to tarnish your reputation like that?
You know, Watson, that wherever glory walks, jealousy is bound to follow. As for the forgery of the necklace, I suspect that we shall soon be enlightened in this regard. Come in, Inspector Baines, the door's open.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. How did you know I was here?
You are one of our rare visitors who avoids the second-to-last step of the stairs, which creaks dreadfully. And if I add the clinking of the handcuffs at your belt, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, Inspector?
Have you read that, Rag?
Inspector, can you explain this slander? Has the necklace of the Samoas really been replaced by a fake?
I don't know how the reporter got hold of the information, but it's true. About the necklace, of course. I wouldn't permit myself to question the integrity and honesty of Mr. Holmes.
The necklace is a forgery? Impossible! I saw the Marquis authenticated before my very eyes, before Holmes returned it to its place.
Mr. Holmes, the Marquis believes Osmond Farley's theory. I shouldn't be surprised if the reporter isn't behind all this slander about you. He's a freelancer, well known for his explosive and subjective articles. In any case, the Marquis assures us that you were the last person to have the necklace in your hands.
Let's return to the Marquis's house, Holmes. I'm sure that we'll have no trouble in taking apart this theory.
It is unnecessary. Such allegations collapse on their own, like one of Mrs. Hudson's soufflés. Let us leave the police to solve this problem and turn our attention to the matters in hand.
Perhaps you are right, Holmes.
Inspector, I assume that you have the fake necklace with you. It's why you're here. Your superiors would like me to examine it.
Indeed. They would like you to confirm or deny putting this fake in the box.
Can't that wait? I must go to the house of Lord Peregrine Maitland, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. And the Marchioness?
She is beside herself. Without the necklace, her marriage is compromised. It is the principal item of the young woman's dowry.
What a lovely marriage. Holmes, forgive me for insisting, but don't you want to examine the fake jewelry?
調べたい。
Watson, I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I arrive late.
It will only take you a
ここ
couple
は
of
問題
minutes.
外。
You really must quell the suspicions put forward in this appalling article. If you will allow me, Inspector?
Be my guest.
Very well.
何この穴ぼこ。すごいな。すごいかっこいいなこれ。おー、かっこいい。ワクワクするわ。こういうのってなんかこうディズニーとかで見るなあ。はい、ネックレスですね。はい。お、ネックレスが本物であるかどうかを調べます。お、回します。なんか黒いのあるけど。
This pearl is a different color. ここもなんか違うな。 These three pearls are of poor quality. These three pearls are of poor quality.
いや。いや、偽物じゃん、これ。なんこれ。
This pearl is too small. It is not in its place here. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake. This is nothing but a vulgar copy, and at a glance it would appear that the forger has intended for it to be seen as such.
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation? I don't understand.
Yes, how is it possible? Holmes, do you have a theory about this?
I have absolutely no idea. You insisted that I examine the necklace, and I have done so. Now it is important that I keep my appointment. I'm sure, Inspector, that you will throw some light on this affair.
いや、
Holmes.
公爵
You may accompany me,
に
Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye,
渡し
gentlemen.
た
I'll
と
keep
い
you
うか、
informed as to my
ホームズ
inquiries.
が見つ
Goodbye,
けた時は
Inspector.
本物のネックレスだった。
You mentioned a bishop, didn't you? Are we going to his home?
Yes, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. I put his address
で
on a map of London on my desk. Would you get it for me,
金庫
please?
に戻した後に、まあ、また盗まれたんじゃない？なんか今出たな。ああ。うん。あ、私ワトソン。ワトソンになっちゃった。行きましょう。いいですね。あれ？ここ何？自分の部屋？
This bust was used to fool Colonel Moran during the case of the empty house.
いい眺めだな。鳩がいる。お？今なんか出た。気のせいか。お？
The work table, where Holmes analyzes things.
かっこいい。早く使ってみたい。
Holmes's homemade analyzer.
ロマンがあるわ。これなんだ？これは？
I have found your map.
お？ナイツブリッジの主教区。あ、早っ。
The police? Already? How did you know?
May we see the Bishop of Knightsbridge?
Yes. Yes, of course. But come in.
何？
What has happened, Reverend?
What?
I don't know. It was last night, I think. I only just arrived.
不気味な
And I
発
have made this
見をした。
macabre discovery. My God. How horrible. I haven't called anyone. How did you know that?
牧師さん、何発見？
Holmes, look!
The Bishop, appallingly
お
mutilated.
ぞましく損壊されている。
Dreadful.
Mutilated. And killed. He was such a good man. How could anyone be so brutal? Look at him. He is barely recognizable now. How could any of God's children be responsible for that?
They were evidently unworthy children, Reverend. Now do please try to calm yourself and focus, because we will need your assistance. Do you have any idea as to the motive behind this?
I haven't had time to do an inventory, but nothing appears to have been stolen. And anyway, His Excellency didn't own anything of great value. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Note this down, please, Doctor.
Doctor? But you aren't the police?
No, Reverend. I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. We are here at the request of the Bishop.
In that case, I must ask you to leave. And not to touch anything. I must get in touch with the authorities without further delay.
Reverend, when the inspectors of Scotland Yard find themselves at a dead end, which they quite often do, I assure you, then they turn to me for help. If you allow us to continue our investigation, then you shall have the answers to all of your questions.
Out of the question! I don't even know you! I'm going to call the police, whether you like it or not.
It would be better for everyone, Reverend, if you kept your temper. Watson, are you taking notes? This affair promises to be a complex one. Therefore, we must not overlook the slightest detail.
Yes, Holmes. I am keeping a meticulous set of notes. I have created a very clever deduction board. One thing we can be sure of at the moment is that this crime was not for gain. The Reverend has informed us that nothing valuable was stolen. And indeed, it would seem that the Bishop had nothing of any worth to take.
Very good, Watson. Do continue.
司教は金庫の中も含めて高価なものは所持していなかった。 うん。さあ、調べていきますよ。細ましいな。これ何？
This stove is filled to overflowing.
なんておぞましいんだ。指が落ちてる。指？アップズ。
The fingers have been crushed and violently struck.
うん。
The fingers have been crushed and violently struck.
His stomach is covered in scratches. Quite evidently, they weren't made recently.
So, these wounds were not made by his murderers.
うーん。
His stomach is...
So,
オッケーオッケー。
his forearms have been ripped, pieces of skin have been torn off. What do you think, Watson?
I'd say that he was eaten alive. Yet I've noticed a curious degeneration of the skin tissue around the
生きたまま
wounds.
食べるってゾンビじゃん。
The fingers have been...
あれ？指全部あるの？
A piece of rope that was used to tie up that poor man.
うーん。これ何の指？これ何の指？
A finger. Apparently it doesn't belong to the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
How dreadful.
恐ろしい。
These burns are terrible.
やけどか。
This poor man was tied just below the knees.
To stop him from walking, certainly, but mostly to free his feet.
His feet have been burned.
My first impression is that he wears a size 9 shoe.
You? But what does it matter, Holmes? My God, Holmes, this man was horribly tortured.
うーん。司教は拷問を受けたんですね。
You can see by his expression that he suffered terribly.
His mouth is covered in blood, and I can make out strips of skin between his teeth. My dear friend, everything points to this man having gnawed at his own forearms.
That's unbelievable, Holmes.
ああ。なるほど。
His chest has been lacerated, I would say, with a very sharp and fine blade.
うん。
Something is missing here.
Oh, yes? And what might that be?
His shoes. Watson, his shoes are missing.
うん。
A bottle of whiskey. I can make out fingerprints stained with blood and dirt. There is blood on this paperweight. This paperweight was used to crush the victim's fingers.
なるほど。はっ！なんだこれ。
I need something.
なんか刺すのか。
Impossible to open it. Reverend, I'm missing something. An implement with which to open this chest. Could you tell me where to find it?
No, go to the devil.
What are you afraid of, Reverend? What is inside the chest?
嫌なことだ。
I'm not afraid of anything. In fact, I do have the necessary implements, but if I have to give them to anyone, it will be to a representative of the law and no one else.
はあ。牧師、非協力的だな。
A broken file and blood near the neck.
What a strange smell. Phew. Chemical components, I think.
うーん。
A broken bottle of whiskey. However, the Bishop of Knightsbridge was known for his sobriety. It would seem that the brutes who tortured the bishop to death were intoxicated with alcohol.
ふんふんふん。
A surgical scalpel covered in blood. There isn't any doubt. The wounds on the bishop were administered with this scalpel.
なるほど。お、
Closed. The veranda door hasn't been forced. Strange. Reverend, might I have the key?
くれないでしょ。
No! You have no authority here. Let me call the police.
Perhaps we should listen to him, Holmes.
Perhaps you should let me get on with this, Watson. This door has not been forced. Where does it lead, Reverend?
To His Excellency's room. There is just a mattress and a stool.
The bishop's bedroom. It is very austere. Nothing in particular here.
なんだよこれ。なんだよこれは。なんか変なのニョキって出てるけど。これはこれはいいんか。いやー狭いな。
It is impossible to get out.
ここ何牢屋じゃん。質素だね。
What should we do next, Holmes?
ベランダは調べられていない。はい。紛失。主教の靴が紛失していた。そうだね。金庫。殺人犯は金庫を開けることができなかった。拷問。被害者は激しい拷問を受けた。主教は自分自身に噛みついた。小瓶。割れた小瓶の上の方に血がついている。割れた小瓶の上の方に血がついてんだろ。上の方。いやーちょっと待って。何これ。あ、ロープか。生々しいなこれ。うん。うん。OK。あれなんかすごいカクカクする。
The picture of Peregrine Maitland.
The Bishop of Knight.
ん
A whip?
No, it is a discipline for self-flagellation.
へえ。何これ
This metal rod is for fastening the chilies. It's a cilice designed to bruise the person wearing it. The bishop wore it as repentance. This very pious man must have had the habit of mortifying his flesh as a means of repentance.
マジで主教すごいな。
Watch where you're putting your feet, Watson. Have you noticed these prints upon the ground?
Well, yes, those muddy marks.
See here, Watson. Footprints can often provide more vital information than the very best of informants.
Yes, if you know how to make them talk, that is.
It's child's play, Watson. We will begin by excluding the contaminating prints, which are yours and mine from where we came in, and those of our dear Reverend who was so impatient to call the police. This print came from an expensive pair of shoes, and it seems recent. It is not a labourer's shoe. Hobnail boots like those worn by labourers. A fragment of stone. Peculiar. Hobnail boots like those worn by labourers. Well-worn shoes with an odd pattern on the soles. This print came from an expensive pair of shoes, and it seems recent. It is not a labourer's shoe. Size 9.
Oh.
Size 9. Size 9.5. Size 9. Size 9.5. I need something. That's not right. Start again.
ちょっと待って。3人これ3人
Perfect. We now know that there were 3 crooks.
そうだね。そうだね。足跡が明かす事実とは、一人の男はすでに部屋にいた男たちと後から合流した。一人の男は最初と異なる靴を履いて部屋を出た。足跡が残らないように一人の男は担がれて部屋を出た。すべての男は片足で飛び跳ねながら部屋を出た。石のかけらがあったんだよな。高級な靴。
That's not right. Start again. Strange but true. One of the crooks was wearing a different pair of shoes when he left here. Therefore, we have 3 men who came in and left again. But one of them was wearing a different pair of shoes from the ones
そのう
which
ち
he
の
came
一人は
in
来た
with.
時と異な
So,
る別
all
の
we have
靴を
to
履いてい
do
た。
is look for a workman who likes Italian shoes.
なるほどですね。ほほ
Impossible to open it. I need something.
何が必要なんですか 何が必要なんですかこれ。指。
Impossible to open it. I am missing some information.
お、
These traces reveal that the thieves tried to open this chest. Impossible to open it. These traces reveal that the thieves tried to open this chest.
他なんかある？なくない？なくないですか？指やだな。なんか。お。
I cannot leave now.
今出ていけない。
You have no right to search here.
ほんとね、非協力的だよな。
Let us look at our deduction board, Watson.
うん。あ。だな。うん。靴売るか？金庫を開けられなかった。拷問。懺悔。主教は苦行を習慣としていて痛みには慣れていた。合ってた？主教は自分自身に噛みついた。小瓶。これ間違ってんのか。ちょっと待って。ちょっと待って。主教の靴を殺人犯の一人は履いて去った。ここは合ってるんだよ。
Perfect. It is evident that the Bishop of Knightsbridge's killers were after something specific, and that they did not find it. Reverend, I shall ask you one more time. Open the chest. The item they were seeking must still be inside. It is unlikely that they will let this matter rest. They will most certainly return to finish what they started.
And I'm telling you once more, the chest is locked and shall remain so.
Very well. We have reached an impasse. You are a stubborn man, Reverend. Watson, accompany our friend to the police station and return with Inspector Baines. Baines and no one else. I shall wait for you here. Go! Alone at last. Now I can continue my investigation.
OK。
Alone at last. Now I can continue my investigation.
これなんだろうな。うん。シフトね。OK OK。早っ。ベロンドに行きます。
This lock should be easy to pick. Let's see.
お？何これ？
That's not right. Start again. That's not right. Start again.
ああ。へえ。ん？
That's not right. Start again.
これ何？どこに刺すんだ？え？あ、ここも動くんだ。これどこに刺すんだ？ん？あ、こう。そんでこう。そんでこう。
There we are. It is simplicity itself. There isn't anything much in this room. It must be used as a reading or meditation room.
ピッキングだ。
An ink stain, quite fresh. This stain is just on the edge of the rug. Let's see. There is nothing on the floor, yet the ink must have soaked through the rug.
うん。
This inkwell was tipped over recently.
何かないかな。インクか。
Alone at last. Now I can continue my investigation.
ん？
An ink stain. The ink stain on the floor comes from the ink on the rug, but they are not in the same place. Someone has moved the rug recently.
いや、なんかここ、なんか床なんか違いますけど、色が。
That is curious. There is something strange on the floor. Certain stones have been marked out, just like a chessboard. That is curious. There is something strange on the floor. Certain stones have been marked out, just like a chessboard. I need something. That is I need some. That is curious. I need something.
何が必要なの？これなんだ？島かけらか。お。
Apparently, someone wanted to hide this statue.
何これないとこ？
This horse resembles a large chess piece. There is a message underneath this statue. Let's see.
想像力のかけらもないのね。チェスに対する情熱を利用してナイトで全ての目を覆い、最後に残る目にナイト自身を置く。その場所があなたの目的とする位置を愛してます。へえ。
This message was written by a woman, but for whom was it intended? Interesting, this chess game.
チェスといえば、とある海外ドラマがすごくなんか今人気って聞いてますね。
That is, I need something.
チェス、これか。ほー。いや、チェスわかんないんだけど。チェスわかんないんだよ。なんとなく分かったかもしれない。
That's not right. Start again.
ナイトって、これ将棋でいう、なんだろう、なんだっけ、桂馬と一緒の動きすんのかな。これとこれか。やっぱりそうか。桂馬だな。なるほど。遊んでこう。これ全部色やるってことじゃない。遊んでこう。それでね、こうでしょ。そんでね、
That's not right. Start again.
これ難しくない？これクリアできんのかな？ちょっと待ってよ。飛ばせるんだ。ちょっとこれ飛ばすわ。
This last piece should be the good one. It will have to be pulled free.
くり抜く
I need something.
お、4月24日、私の愛しい人、なんて素敵な春。そう、今日はとても素晴らしい日。私たちの大切な末っ子の誕生日ですよ。はい、はい。私の愛しい人、私のことしつこいって思うわよね。でも私たちの関係を合法化させるべきだわ。うん。
A packet of letters addressed to the Reverend. They were written by a woman
隠し
who
子。
mentions his illegitimate children. Their affair isn't official. Perfect. I have you now, my wayward Reverend.
隠し子だったんですね。お、
Ah, Watson. You were gone a terribly long time, and Inspector Baines isn't with you.
I'm afraid not, Holmes. We were unable to find him.
Dr. Watson would not allow me to contact any inspector other than this Baines. What manners! I am a man of the church.
My dear Reverend, I notice that you are a chess lover. I trust you will excuse me, but I am never able to resist the appeal of a half-finished game.
You are an expert at chess. Very well then. What do you want now?
As you might have guessed, resolving your small chess problem has allowed me to discover some very interesting letters.
Letters? What do they say?
Reverend, why hide these letters here and run the risk of the bishop finding them?
Holmes, what's in the letters?
Not now, Watson.
Where else could I have hidden them? My own chambers are too austere. They could offer no cover. I knew, however, that His Excellency, may he rest in peace, would not notice my game.
The contents of the Bishop of Knightsbridge's chest interest me greatly. Give me the elements you hold, Reverend.
Out of the question.
Do you understand that you are the prime suspect in this terrible murder?
What? But that's ridiculous.
Think for one moment, who profits from this crime?
Not me.
I think so, yes. With the Bishop of Knightsbridge no longer here, you are now the apostolic director of the diocese, are you not?
Yes, until another incumbent is appointed, but
A position which should logically come to you. The police will not overlook that.
they will never believe you.
But of course they will. Do not forget who I am, Reverend.
You are odious. Here are the stems that you were looking for. You have one.
Evidently, as I always do. What are you able to tell us about the Bishop of Knightsbridge's last days? Did anyone come to visit him? Did he seem worried, anxious? Do not omit the smallest detail.
His nephew came to see him yesterday at His Excellency's request. I found this visit a little peculiar because the young man rarely visits his uncle.
Do you know why that might be? Were they on bad terms?
I don't think so. It's rather a consequence of his work. The young man is employed within the archives section of the Royal Library, which doesn't leave him with a lot of free time.
Do you know the reason for his summons?
No, but the conversation was very heated. It only lasted for a few minutes and ended with the nephew in a terrible rage.
Interesting.
I've answered your questions. Will you now let me contact the authorities?
I'm afraid not, Reverend. Not just yet. All right, now we can open the safe.
ほん。ちょっと待って、これさ、セーブどうやってやるんだ？少々お待ちください。 まあいいや。でこう。はあ。なんですこれ。何これ。1、2、3、4、5、6、7。7個あるの。なんだこれ。おお。くそ。ああ、ここか。そんで違いますな。違いますな。あららららららら。あらら。ああ、順調だったのに。ポン、ポン、ポン。じゃあ。なんだこれ。何？あ、かぶらないように置くみたいな？そうでもない。あれ？ポンポン。ポンポンポン。斜めもかぶってないけど。あと2つか。ダメか。うん、やっぱなんかこうかぶらないように置いてくんだな。飛ばします。
Here we are. I am eager to discover what remarkable treasure could justify such an act of barbarity.
Extraordinary.
何が入ってるんだ？
This chest is impenetrable. How is it possible? No one other than the bishop should be able to open it.
You open the chest with disconcerting ease, Holmes.
そう
I've
でし
seen
ょ
and heard quite enough. This time you won't stop me.
Catch him, Watson.
What the? But why?
Run, Watson.
牧師逃げたのか。
He's escaped. I hope that your motivations are founded, Holmes. I don't much like skirting around the edges of the law like this.
It is annoying. Let's leave without delay.
What have you found in the chest, Holmes? What in there is so precious for these men to commit such terrible acts?
The Reverend was telling the truth. Nothing important was locked inside the chest, apart from a few religious items which are hardly worth stealing.
So, we haven't made any headway. Perhaps the police will.
By the time the police arrive, we shall be a long way from here, Watson. We are leaving.
ちょっとセーブしたいんですが。
We have crossed London at a breakneck speed. We could have knocked someone over, and naturally I had to pay the cabbie out of my own pocket.
Watson, stop complaining. We have to analyze the clues found at the bishop's house.
お、ここでセーブが入りました。じゃあ今回はここまでにしたいと思います。いやーね、これ謎解き意外と難しい。好きなんだけど難しい。はい。では近いうちに続きの方も配信していきますので、よかったら見てくださると嬉しいです。それではまた次回楽しみにお待ちください。それではまた。